So this is my 2011 Suzuki Carry. It's about the most awesome little vehicle I've ever owned, and it goes like a mountain goat, and it turns a tighter circle than my four-wheeler, so that's crazy. You can haul anything in them. This one has a differential lock and four and low high transfer case, and it's really been a good thing. You know, people spend a lot of money for side by sides, and I've got an old one that I spent too much on, so I'm guilty too. But these things, you can pick them up for very little, and in Japan they don't get a lot of use. This one here's got 22,000 kilometers, so I suppose in miles that's closer to 12,000 miles maybe, and it's been treated well. Like most of them, they have a very strict policy in Japan as far as inspections go, and so they're usually in just great shape. And it's got a little three-cylinder Suzuki 47 horsepower motor under the passenger seat there, and it's not the most powerful thing in the world, but it will get you where you're wanting to go. I've made some changes to it, and I took an old ammo box and made a frame so I can just lower that, leave it in place, and maybe I'll show you that a little bit later. Put 13-inch wheels, I think, off of a Geo, and I've got the biggest tires you can possibly fit underneath of one, height-wise at least, without rubbing. And I've got I think a 3-inch extension kit on this one, so it does have a small raise on it. They come with 12-inch rims. So we're out here in the mountains in Colorado, and our road grader guy does a great job. But, you know, when the roads are dry, they just get ripples real quick from all the FedEx and UPS delivers, and those guys are trying to get from point A to point B, so if we don't have moisture on the roads, they get really ripply, which we finally have moisture, so maybe that'll soak in and smooth them down a little bit. But where we're going today is I am taking our garbage to the dumpster I share with one of my neighbors out here, and it's a beautiful day. So a couple days ago it was in the 70s, and I woke up this morning, it was 14 degrees, so that's pretty cold. I think it's going to get in the mid-40s today, and hopefully we'll get a little bit back to heat a little bit later. Anyhow, at the dumpster. Okay, talk to you in a minute. these little trucks. There are mini truck, M-I-N-I, mini truck dealers all over the country. You can order them yourself directly from Japan. That's a big hassle. I looked into it. It just really wasn't quite worth it to me. Probably, I'd guess that's $3,000–4,000 to the cost. But you know, you've got to go to the port of entry. There's a lot of paperwork and a lot of fees, import fees, and it just seemed like a wiser choice to me to order one from a dealer. I got mine from an awesome guy. I think it's Bob's Mini Trucks in Michigan. Just a real fine fella. Gave me a good deal and stayed right with me and was very helpful. So it is kind of odd in this truck. I've got to see a car coming about half a mile or so down. But it is kind of odd to see someone driving on the wrong side of the road if you're from America, like I am here. And so it really wasn't very difficult to get used to gauging the distance. If I've got this right side tire all the way over to the ditch, then I'm in pretty good shape. So anyhow, yeah, there's one of the neighbors, and you know, the shifting and everything backwards was really kind of intuitive. The shifter is obviously on the opposite side of where I normally shift, but it's just easy. It's the same gear pattern as normal. You just remember that. You'll be okay. And they do make these left-hand drives as well. So most generally they come with air conditioning, all the amenities. You know, people spend thousands of dollars on side-by-sides, putting windows and doors in, and trying to make them airtight, and they still flap and have holes. And they've got their little 12-volt cigarette lighter heater that they plug in, and yeah, those things can go up to, I don't know, $30,000–$50,000. These things are just a fraction of that, and they're much more like a regular vehicle. You know, a side-by-side with a truck bed on it. You know, holds only so much. Well, these hold a lot of weight. I mound this thing over with firewood and come up my big hills out of the woods, and it doesn't even care. Also, the sides fold down on these, so if you have something a little larger than the bed you need to carry, you can actually fold those little sides down and put something a little larger in there. So anyhow, it's a nice thing. I use the time out of it here on this ranch. We've got 30-some miles of roads, and you know, if I want to drive to town and put gas in it, our local sheriff doesn't care. There's a deer for you. Our dear beloved Colorado can't decide if these are an actual vehicle or a four-wheeler, and so they chose to ignore the licensing altogether on these, which I think is a shame, because being from Indiana, you could just drive them on the streets in our local county. But like I said, we've got a good sheriff, and he doesn't care. So I can drive to town and put fuel in it, and it'll go probably 60–70 miles an hour if I wanted to, you know, be crazy stupid with it. But anyhow, we're back at the house. I'll show you a couple features about this thing. I'll give you the walk around on the little truck. So I made that front bumper out of 2x3 steel and mounted it to the frame. And like I said, that is the most tire and wheel combination you can get underneath of one of these without some serious modification or a really serious lift. And that is a size ST 175/80 R13 tire, just for reference. And I do have about 3 inches of lift, and it will barely just catch the edge when the tires turn just right. So that's about it for clearance. And it goes really fine with street tires in the winter, in fact, most of the time. So here's a little modification I did on it. I put an ammo box on here, and I'll show you how that works. I was too lazy to make a little pin here to actually make it stay in place, so I'm just using a strap for now. But I did make a frame, steel frame here, which I'm mounted to the frame of the truck, and it just holds this ammo box, so if I want to get in it and get some things out of it while I'm here, then it stays stable right there. And that's about the only place there is to put one of these, so by the way. So I will button this back up. And I'll continue with the tour here. So here's my back bumper. I also made that. And if you look underneath here, I had to make a really funky looking weldment to make all that come together. The front bumper is really easy. The back bumper is kind of a challenge. So just so you know. And then in the back here, I mounted another seat in case I want to take a couple of folks along. So that's about it for the external changes. And then inside, you can see what the dash looks like and everything. I have some safety stuff here in the middle and some spare water. It gets hot and dry out here. And I've mounted a little UHF VHF radio right here in the dash, which works out real well. And so that's my little mini truck, complete with my broken antenna. Oh, by the way, radios in these, they're tuned to the Japanese frequencies, so you can't really get many US stations on them. And I'll change that out someday. But yep, hit a low-lying branch somewhere along the way and just taped it back up. So